Every night, a couple of hours before going to bed, I make sure to fill out my calendar for the day that follows. But yesterday, I found a pretty interesting dilemma within the process because we have 16 hours of time every single day. And when we use a calendar, when we organize those 16 hours, we feel obligated to fill every single hour with something important, to fill every single hour with something seemingly meaningful, with something that might be work, a distraction from work, but surely not relaxation. And by filling out this calendar with the most useless, rudimentary things I could think of, I realized something. True relaxation is probably not knowing what to do and just simply resting, right? Because what do you think about when you think about a relaxed person? Do you think about a person who has a full schedule, or about a person who has a schedule but is not too restricted by it? A person who has a schedule but also has a lot of free time in that schedule in order for fate to decide his actions. What do you think about when you think about serenity, when you think about relaxation? Not a full schedule. Not a full schedule. This is especially bad during the weekend because suddenly we have 16 hours of time that are just blank, that we need to fill up, that we need to fill up, that we need to like put something in. We need to put something inside of them in order to feel good about the day. But if you do all of those things in the day, ultimately none of them are going to be that important. If you only do two of them, but do them well, then you'll be proud of the day. Most of the days we remember, we just did a couple of interesting things in them, not our whole bucket list. So, how about next time you try to fill in a calendar, or next time you try to be productive during a day, you choose a couple of things to care about, a couple of things to prioritize, a couple of things to do. Because if you fill up the goddamn calendar with 10 things, you probably won't do any of them that well. You probably, and this is honestly speaking, you probably won't do all of them, and you will probably feel stressed and bad about not doing them well, or having to reconsider them for the next day and repeating the same mistake of filling your calendar way too much. Because the basically the hazard fate chance has basically the entire power when it comes to like deciding our routine. You won't be able to like manipulate it. You won't be able to change everything you do in a day. You can maybe modify it, but not change it, which do seem like synonyms, but are ultimately quite different when you think about them. Modifying means slightly changing, but changing means completely reshaping. And reshaping is pretty much impossible when it comes to a good routine. You can reshape a bad routine, but by reshaping a good routine, you take out all of its essence because you make it way more complicated than it needs to be. Don't think about your routine as something that you're obligated to do. Think about it as a suggestion of activities. Because what happens when if you wake up an hour early? What happens if you wake up an hour late? It just happened to me this morning. And yes, I'm still kind of following my calendar, but I did have the inspiration to record a YouTube video about not being too strict with it. So, what does that say about calendars? What does that say about routines? Don't be too strict. I beg of you. Because if you are, your calendar has basically no purpose. I'll see you later.